There is something happening right now in the United States that most people have absolutely no idea about. Engineers and inventors have been quietly building machines that do what we all thought was impossible just a few years ago. We are talking about real machines, not concepts locked away in a lab, and not drawings on a computer screen. These are things that actually fly and exist in the real world right now. Some of them are already in people's hands. Some cost less than a luxury car. And one of them is so simple to fly that you do not even need a pilot's license. That is not a joke. Today, we are counting down 8 of the most mind-blowing personal flying inventions ever built. The machine sitting at number 1 is a flying marvel born from American innovation, and it is already being delivered to real customers as we speak. It will leave you speechless. We are starting at number 8, and each invention gets more unbelievable as we go. So if you love technology like this, drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss what comes next. Starting off at number 8, the Volanaut Aerobike. When the first video of this machine appeared online, the entire internet thought it was fake. A man dressed like a soldier from Star Wars sitting on what looked like a motorcycle, floating between trees with no wheels and no visible propellers. People said it had to be computer generated. It looked too good to be real, but it was. This is the Volanaut Aerobike, and it is a real flying motorcycle. It was created by Tomasz Patan, a Polish engineer who also designed the Jetson ONE. The Aerobike is a jet-powered flying machine that looks like a speeder bike from Return of the Jedi. It weighs just 66 pounds, about 7 times less than a normal motorcycle, thanks to carbon fiber and 3D printed parts that keep every extra gram off the frame. It reaches speeds of 124 miles per hour in the air. That is faster than most cars are allowed to drive on the highway. The most impressive part is that it does not use spinning propellers at all. It uses jet propulsion, meaning there are no exposed blades that could hit a branch or a bird. That allows it to dodge obstacles and fly through tight spaces, like weaving between trees in a dense forest. It hovers by itself the moment you let go of the controls. You just sit on it, and it does the balancing for you. The price is around $880,000, so flying like you are in Star Wars comes at a steep cost for now. It is still officially a prototype with a flight time of only about 10 minutes per tank of fuel, running on diesel, biodiesel, or jet fuel. But the fact that it exists and actually flies through real forests with a human on board is incredible. Moving to number 7, the Xpeng X2. Over in China, a car company decided that regular cars were not exciting enough anymore. Xpeng is known for making electric cars, but a few years ago, they created a separate division just to build flying vehicles. The result was the Xpeng X2, a 2-seat aircraft that takes off straight up into the air with no runway needed at all. The X2 looks like a sleek pod with propellers on top instead of a roof. It flies using electric power alone, with no fuel and no engine noise like a helicopter. It has been tested in public flights over open deserts with 2 people on board at once. It can reach speeds of around 80 miles per hour and climb to a decent height, all while being controlled with simple flight software instead of traditional pilot controls. Xpeng has not released the X2 for public sale yet, so there is no confirmed retail price available to regular buyers. It remains a demonstration aircraft used to show what the company is capable of building. But the fact that an automaker built a working 2-seat flying vehicle and flew it in front of crowds is a huge milestone. Next up at number 6, the Lexus hoverboard. For decades, an entire generation dreamed of one thing: the hoverboard from Back to the Future, a board that truly floats with no wheels. The luxury car company Lexus decided to actually build one, and they pulled it off. The Lexus hoverboard does not float by magic. It uses a technology called magnetic levitation. Inside the board, there are superconductors cooled with liquid nitrogen to extremely low temperatures. That is why in videos of the hoverboard, you see white smoke coming from the sides. That is the liquid nitrogen evaporating into the air. The supercooled conductors interact with special magnets hidden in the ground, allowing the board to levitate above them with zero friction. No wheels, just pure floating, silent and smooth. To prove it was real, Lexus built an entire skate park in Barcelona with magnetic tracks hidden beneath the floor, covered in wood and dirt to look completely normal. They brought in professional skater Ross McGoran, who glided through the air, jumped, and even crossed puddles without ever touching the ground below him. There is a catch, though. It only floats over those specific magnetic tracks. Buried in the ground, you cannot ride it down your street or to the store like a normal skateboard. Lexus built it purely as a promotional project to show off their engineering skills, so it was never sold to the public, but it proved that floating transportation is possible with real science. Coming in at number 5, Autoflight Prosperity. Most flying inventions carry one or two people. This next one is different. Meet the Autoflight Prosperity, an aircraft designed to carry up to 5 people at the same time, including the pilot. This is not a small drone with a seat bolted on. It looks and flies more like a small airplane, crossed with a helicopter. It has multiple propellers mounted on its wings that tilt to allow it to take off straight up like a helicopter, then rotate forward so it can fly efficiently like a plane. This design lets it travel much farther than most electric flying vehicles, covering over 150 miles on a single charge. The idea behind the Prosperity is simple. Instead of one person flying alone, this could work like a flying taxi, carrying a group of passengers between cities without needing an airport. It has completed extensive test flights and is working toward official certification. Because it is still going through testing, Autoflight has not published a retail price, as it is being developed for commercial operators rather than personal ownership. At number 4, the Flyboard Air. In 2019, millions of people watched a man floating above the Seine River in Paris during France's Bastille Day military parade. He was holding a rifle, standing on what looked like a flying skateboard hundreds of feet up in the air. That man was French inventor Frankie Zapata, and that machine was the Flyboard Air. The board uses 5 mini-turbo engines mounted on the bottom. The pilot straps his feet in, and the thrust from those engines lifts him straight off the ground. He controls direction by shifting his body weight, just like on a skateboard, but hundreds of feet in the air, with nothing below him but open sky. Zapata actually crossed the English Channel on this machine, flying more than 21 miles between France and England in about 22 minutes, with a quick refueling stop on a boat in the middle of the water. The board can reach speeds of around 118 miles per hour and climb to incredible heights. The Flyboard Air has never been sold as a consumer product, but it turned what many thought was a superhero fantasy into a real-world spectacle. Now at number 3, the Jetman Jetwing. Strap a rigid wing to your back, jump out of a helicopter, and fly at 180 miles per hour, using nothing but your body to steer. That is exactly what Yves Drosy does. Known around the world as Jetman, he invented a machine that turns a human being into an airplane. The Jetman Jetwing has no cockpit, no seat, and no wheels. It is a carbon fiber wing that the pilot straps to his back, powered by 4 small jet turbines mounted underneath. There is no steering wheel and no joystick anywhere on the wing. Rossi steers the flight using only his body, tilting his shoulders to turn, lowering his head to descend, and stretching out his arms to slow down. With this wing, he can fly over 180 miles per hour, pull off loops, tight turns, and even fly in close formation with real jet airplanes. He has flown above the Swiss Alps, over the Grand Canyon, and through the skies of Dubai. Takeoff is done by jumping from a helicopter or hot air balloon, and landing requires a parachute. The Jetman wing was custom built and is not sold commercially, representing one of the purest forms of human flight ever created. Stepping up to number 2, the EHang EH216-S. What if a flying vehicle needed absolutely no pilot at all? That is exactly what the EHang EH216-S delivers. This is a two-seat aircraft that flies completely on its own, using an autonomous flight system. Passengers do not touch any controls. They simply select their destination, and the aircraft handles takeoff, navigation, and landing entirely by itself, using onboard computers and sensors. It features 16 propellers total, across 8 arms, giving it enough redundancy that, if a motor fails, it can still land safely. The EH216-S made history by becoming the first aircraft of its kind to receive an official type certificate in China after regulators reviewed more than 40,000 test flights. It can carry real passengers over cities at speeds of around 80 miles per hour, with a flight time of about 25 minutes per charge. Commercial units are priced around $300,000, aimed mainly at companies running automated aerial taxi services. And finally, at number 1, the Jetson ONE. Here we are, at number 1, and this is the machine that brings the dream home. It is a real flying vehicle, born from American innovation, that you can actually buy, fly, and own right now in the United States, and you do not even need a pilot's license. While the company was originally founded in Sweden, its headquarters relocated to California, making this a true American personal aircraft, built and delivered on U.S. soil. Because it falls under the FAA's Ultralight aircraft category in the United States, no pilot's license or formal flight certification is required by law to fly it. The Jetson ONE costs around $148,000, less than many high-end luxury sports cars. Units are already being delivered to real customers, including high-profile tech founders who are flying them around their private properties today. Which one of these 8 inventions would you jump on without hesitation, and which one would you never try, no matter what? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the future of tech.